All right. So, Heather Fisher, welcome to Dive Beyond Sport. Thank you so much.
In terms of the difference between England 15s and England 7s, the difference between World Cup and Olympics, what's that like for you? That must be, even though it's the same sport, the same discipline, it must be quite a transition switching from one to
Yeah.
the other. How do you approach that in terms of trying to achieve the same, especially coming out of an England World Cup winning team into an Olympic team? What was the difference for you from like a view of being excellent?
So first of all, complete two separate codes, right? So 7 players on the
Yeah,
pitch, 7 minutes each way, same size pitch, and then 15 players. Well, I think it's 40
yeah.
minutes each way. So completely different game. So for sevens, you got to be basically really lean and fast. So it was about dropping weight. It was about repeat speed ability. It was about being really technical and precise on everything that you do in the sevens game because you literally do everything. Whereas in 15s, you have one job. And normally, if someone messes up, there's normally someone there like kind of close enough around you to be able to pick up those pieces. Where in sevens, my nearest player can be 15 meters away, which is like a massive space. So two very different games. I was offered a contract in sevens and 15s, but I turned the 15s one down because I didn't feel like I could be the very best at both. Because one required me to be about 75, maybe 77K, and the other one required me to be about 69, 70K. So there's a very big difference in weight. And when you transition from sevens back to 15s, you're so used to like being and doing everything and going so fast that you end up almost getting everybody else's way because you're moving so fast and doing everything at a different speed. So they didn't lend themselves, it didn't lend itself to go back then. But now I think some of the best players in the world transition really well. And you've seen Ellie Kildun do it, you've seen Meg Jones do it in the 15s game. If you can transition a sevens player into a 15 squad and work the system around them, I think you've got some of the best players in the world in the sevens game. But it was really tough because before I did sevens, obviously I was a bobslayer. And so I was pushing and I was free sprinting for like maybe max 10 seconds. And then suddenly I'm having to go in the heat for like 14 minutes, like over and over again. And I was absolutely like world of pain because you've got to be so fit.
Which did you prefer? Which did you prefer, sevens or 15s?
Sevens, sevens was my thing. So I always wanted to be an Olympic athlete, and that was that was my dream, Olympic athlete. I didn't really know it was going to be rugby. It just ended up being rugby. And when I was maybe potentially looking for a different sport and looking for bobsleigh, sevens then got announced in the next Olympics, which was 2016. It was supposed to be put into 2012, and then they'd started building the village, and they said they couldn't make any more room. So I was like, oh man, another 4 years. But I stayed in the system and did sevens in 2016. I just wanted one more in 2021, I think it was the new Olympics. So it was added quite late, but I kind of look back and go, God, I could have probably done so many different sports, but sometimes it's just what you're exposed to as a young girl or a young boy and just where you take off and where you land, right?
That's something also, though, even from my side, that you've had a lot more experience than the owner and I, because I mean, it doesn't have to be, but typically diving is a very all-encompassing sport. So we started, I think, both around 7 or 8 years old, and that's all we did pretty much since that age. And so and from the beginning, it was like for both of us, okay, you're now in this elite program. The goal here is to ideally make it to the Olympic Games. That's the pathway you're on. Like, let's go. So it's like, okay, I'm a diver. Like, sure, let's go. It was sort of the goal was almost made for us in some sense, and I was very happy to. All right, I'm in. Let's go. But even that was one thing I was curious about with your story is that there was there's all these like Bob said obviously, and then the two different types of rugby and switching between the two, and that just struck me as quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's quite rare. I think it's because the game wasn't professional. Because I was, I suppose, crazy enough, talented enough, strong enough. I don't know what the answer is, but to go between all three, I suppose I was professional in my own way because I was TAS funded, and then I was EIS funded. So I just kept bouncing between, and I was always funded at some point through 7s, 15s, or bobsleigh. But if I didn't, so basically I went to uni. So I went to School of Excellence at 15 years old with England Rugby, alongside a lot of other players who also played for England. And that was at age 15, 14, 15. I was on the pathway for England at that age, but then I got dropped from England early 20s for like forgetting my gum shield, my water bottle, wearing the wrong socks. Like just let the little things that we see little back then that we now know are the massive things that make up those little 1%ers, right? But they were I got dropped for basically not doing those things. And I just randomly sat in a coffee shop and someone asked me if I'd try out for bobsleigh. Now, it was a very rogue move to go, hey, England, just so you know, I've had a phone call and I'm going to try out Great Britain bobsleigh, but if I'm good enough, I'll make it when I get back. And that's kind of what I said. I just said, that's what I'll do. I'll make it. If I'm good enough, I will make it when I get back. And I did. And I just trusted my instinct that I'll always be okay. And you never know what doors will open until you have the bravery and the courage, I think, to shut one door that is good, but is there better out there? And I think, like you just spoke about there, Freddie, like you're thrown into a system really early on, like 7 years old. You don't know what other sports you might have potentially been absolutely incredible at as well. You just don't know that. And for me, it was about finding what I could be really good at. And women's sport back then wasn't in the spotlight like it is now, just like diving wasn't in the spotlight then like it is now. So it's about keeping my options open. I just knew I had something special inside of me, and I knew that at probably 13 years old, and I knew that I could be something and someone. And so I always chased going from somebody to someone. That's what I chased.
You seem to have like a very innate ability to adjust and adapt and back yourself, as you literally showed then when you said, right, I'm going to do bobsleigh, but if I'm good enough, I can come back and make the England team.
So cocky, isn't it?
No, but it's not. It is a little bit cocky, fair enough. But
I love it though. That inspires me.
I agree 100%. I think people often don't back themselves enough, like truly back themselves, especially when they have clear talent. I think a lot of talent goes to waste when they don't truly back themselves. And what I was going to connect that to is what you're doing now, obviously coming out of rugby and going through this maybe period of limbo of not really 100% sure of who you are, what you're doing, where you're at in life, what your direction is. However, you have the confidence that you know you will figure out at some point, but in the meantime, you can just make it work. Like, do you think that is just an innate skill, or is that something that you learned as a kid, like from the people around you? Like, where does that come from for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I didn't realize, but I'm realizing it is a very innate skill. And I'm realizing that I do have that ability to I say yes and I go, shit, let's work out the plan. That's what I do. I think that's really, really important. But I won't say yes unless it aligns to my values. I won't say yes unless I really think, does it excite me? Does the challenge make me want to go, oh, I could do that? Then I say yes. If not, then I don't really say a lot, and then I don't even bother. So I kind of go with my gut instinct, and I really believe in my gut. And then I think the adaptability and the change, I think it's just within. I think you've either got it or you haven't. I do. I don't think you can give someone the strength to be adaptable, and I think you can try and provide the skills, but you know what this like. If everyone could do what we do, everyone would be athletes, and it's pretty tough it's easy to be an athlete when you're an athlete because we love what we do and we have this strong purpose to be the very best, and we love putting ourselves in those 6 sessions that we go, that was sick, but give it me again, let's go. But normal people, real life people, don't challenge themselves and they fit the norm. I think there's a lot of people that just tick the boxes, and I was that player who they said, fish, stand on a cone, and I would go and get a cone and put it where my feet were. That was me, not by Freddie's like, yes, I love that. Like that wasn't
efficient.
That wasn't conscious, like, oh, I'm gonna be different. That was just how I was. That was just me. And I think I've just gone with that my whole entire life, and without realizing I've been like it from a very young age. And then we try and fit into these systems, and actually the England system didn't always really suit me, is the truth. I just made it fit because I wanted to be the very best version of myself, and that was where I landed. And it's almost like, fish, you've chose your bed now. Like, I went to bobsleigh for Great Britain, and I pushed that bloody bobsleigh down that mountain thing, and I hated it. I was like, I got to the bottom, like I've been for a washing machine, and I was like, holy moly, this is awful. Like, what have I done? You know, I was like shocked and cold and thrown around and headache and aching and hurting, and I was like, whoa. And then I had to do it all again, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've said no to rugby for this, but I'd laid my bed and I had to make it work. And so it was like, right, well, this is what it is. This is what life is about. I've got to push the bobsleigh for 4 minutes a day, 4 runs a day. Get your head around it now, fish. You'll be absolutely fine. 4 minutes of your day can't be that difficult. But it was a lot. So for me, it was like, I think I've been fortunate enough to be able to throw myself in something. I've always given full intent, like you probably guys do now. It's full intent. I'm fully in or I'm fully out. And most of the time I'm fully in. But if I feel like I'm slightly out, I'm out. Which is why I've left the system, or I've left the sport, or I've changed sports. And I've trusted myself enough that I will always be okay.
That's really starting, I think, that's really starting to click with me now based on the story you're talking about. And there's so many things there that, well, first of all, for a rugby player to be saying like, man, I got smashed about in the bobsleigh, that's making me think, damn, maybe I need to give these like bobsleigh people some more, even more kudos, because that must be something. But also in terms of, I was just thinking again, like traits of successful people. You said earlier, Fish, about athletes, business people, anyone, like all successful people are going to be driven by their values. But I also think again, highly successful people are people who listen to and trust their gut, number one.
Yeah.
I think, like you said. And then number two, also full speed, full commitment, full focus, tunnel vision. And you seem to just, like, everything you said just kind of encapsulated that. And I just thought, like, whoa, these are. And again, you said I think at the very beginning, or even if we were off air, you were like, you left when you left sport, you're like, I've got nothing. But then all these characteristics of like hyper successful people that every story you're talking about just seems to kind of have those within it. I just think, okay, I mean, the world better get ready for what's coming.
You're right. The world better get ready, because like I feel like I'm just hatching. I feel like I'm on the start line, and it's taking me. So I obviously stepped away from sport in 2021 too, the new Olympics, but I had to have a knee operation, a couple of nose operations. It took me about a year to get over that. Then I went straight into Go Hard, Go Home, BBC, Go Hard, Go Home. And then I went straight after that. And then I started with my agent, who I'm with now. And I've been a year and a half now of her, just building, just starting. And now I feel like we're on the start line. Like, I'm getting repeat business, repeat talks. I enter a room and I know how to say, hey, I'm Heather Fisher, Olympian Rugby World Cup winner. These are my products, this, and this. And this is what I do, and this is what I believe in. Thank you very much. I'm able to say that now, whereas before I couldn't even say what I was about. I didn't even know what I was about. And I also didn't respect the fact that I'd been in my sport for 25 years, because it was just what I did. I didn't respect the fact that I, have done Olympics, and unfortunately we came fourth, but we can't all have Olympic medals, can we, boys? But but I didn't respect. I think because I always say to myself, and I totally believe in the fact that medals and money won't make or break me, I didn't really respect what I really had, and I didn't understand it because it was just what I did. And so I tried to almost just go, yeah, it's just what I did, but hey, this is who I really am. But actually that's made me who I am, and therefore I have to understand how to use those tools, how to create a new platform. And I believe that every room I walk into, if I'm good enough, I'll walk out of business. Done. If I'm not, then I won't. It's pretty simple. That's your challenge, Freddie. But it's true, right? That's the challenge. Is like
that a lot.
That's the challenge. How many people want my content again? How many brands want to work?
Yeah.
How can I up my game? How can because I can't really compare myself to someone else, and I don't know what I'm in yet. I am in transition, but you know, I work in an investment bank. I do speaking full time. I work as a performance coach. I work on cruise ship speaking. I do content. I do so many different things, and I don't know where I'm going to end yet. But I'm on a journey, and that's okay. But
I love that with sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just with stripping the ego out of that as well. So you were saying like, if I'm not good enough, I won't get, you know, I won't come back. I won't get repeat business. And I learned from that. I really like that. It's like, and that's sometimes I think something that athletes struggle with, and you know, me included, of like, you were amazing at something, and now you've got lots of value to give, but you're probably not as amazing at all at these things. You've got to start again. You've got to go through that process. But it's like being honest with yourself. Okay, maybe all right, that talk wasn't good enough. No worries. Why? Well, maybe this. Let me try this next time. Cool. Okay. Now, I got repeat business on this one. Sweet. I'm getting better. You know, it just seemed like less ego. I like that.
Yeah. Well, there's no room for ego. There's no room for ego on the pitch, and there's no room for ego off the pitch. And that's just the way I believe life is. But, you know, I never thought I'd be sitting here and tomorrow I work in an investment bank 2 days a week, coaching their mindset and the resilience and pressure to the top people, CEOs of a bank. And I never thought that I would love that environment. Real people, real change, real problems. I know nothing about banking, but I know a lot about people and personality and pressure and resilience. And so it's how to bridge that gap. And I never thought that that would make me want to get out of bed, but I love it. I thrive on it. And it's real. It's real people, real problems, real business. And I think it's just accepting that you don't know what you don't know. We're still learning. We're still growing. I feel lost a lot of the time. I feel different to people walking on the streets. If I haven't got a day job, I feel a bit lazy, like I'm having a day off, and this feels weird for me right now. So sometimes I get into my garden and just sweep all the leaves up because I can see results. You know, it's things like I have to be able to see results in what I do, and if I can't see the results, I get really disheartened by it, because I think we're also used to constant feedback. We're used to being told that's not good enough, and we go, wicked, thanks for the feedback. That means obviously you really care about me, and now I can get better. Whereas in the world of business, they go, hey, you're telling me what to do. I don't need feedback. So it's perceived very differently. And I miss someone just going, Fish, that wasn't good enough. Can you do that better? And tell me why. I miss that. And so I crave for people to make me better.
I think all this that you're talking about there is amazing for athletes, especially to hear, because I think it's often seen that, or when you're an athlete, you might see the end of your career as like the edge of this cliff, and what's beyond it is like, I don't know, scary. However, there is so much opportunity afterwards. And, you know, I've just turned 30 this year. So many people are like, oh yeah, you get 30 and it all goes downhill from here. But I've always replied to that. Actually, no, I'm rejecting that theory. I think I'm going to thrive in my 30s. I'm really excited for it, because look at everything I've achieved in my 20s. Imagine if I can do all that again, but with all the experience I've already got and just compound on it. Like that's exciting to me. Whereas some people see that kind of threshold and get scared and think it drops off. And, you know, you've gone through that, and exactly what you're sharing is exactly that. Like, you've kind of gone through that threshold, but based on the 25 years of experience that you've got, this minor period of fluctuation is okay, because it's then going to take off and you're going to hatch and it's going to be unbelievable.
I think you're right, yeah. But what's really hard in what you just said is, you know, when you just said like we're going to take off and it'll be unbelievable, I sometimes think, Fish, where are you taking off to?
True. Very true.
Why isn't this enough? Why isn't normal life, having my family, working in an investment bank, being a speaker, traveling, speaking, why isn't it enough? And what am I chasing? And I think as athletes, we're so quick to chase the next medal, the next games, the next competition, and it's the next, and we become really greedy in chasing success. And I don't know at the moment, if I'm totally honest with you, hand on heart, what success looks like right now. That's where I'm struggling, because I'm in that mentality, what you just said. I'm chasing, I'm going. Where am I going? It's like getting on a plane and I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. And that's really scary. And so any athlete listening to this, I think change and transition is really scary. And I don't think there is enough out there to support athletes transitioning out at all. Like suddenly you go, I don't understand. They say once Olympian, always Olympian, but hey, everything you had access to, we're going to strip away. Oh, I don't understand it. I don't understand why every Olympian doesn't have membership to any local gym for the rest of their life, access to any medical for the rest of their life. We will always support you because you've literally done it for your country, for us. We're a we, right? And I do not understand why we're then left to go, thanks very much. And then you're out, and then you're like, oh, I have to buy normal clothes because I only have GB kit. You know what I mean, right? I've spent so much money on just, I haven't got any clothes really to wear. So I don't wear my GB kit in the gym, right? So I'm like, okay, I need normal clothes, and what's my style and what am I going to wear? I've gone through all these stages. I need that for that event, and I need that for that. And wow, there's so much to it that I never knew about. And so for me, the sport isn't there, but also I'm not sure what I'm chasing yet. And I think I've tried to get away from that. Happiness is the journey and it can't be the destination, when as athletes we're taught about the destination, which is the Olympics or the next Commonwealth Games or the next World Cup. It has to be now, this training session, whatever this is called life, this has to be enough right now. But for some reason, something in me that goes, I want more, but I don't know what the more is. Does that make sense?
I mean, I'm completely the same.
It's weird.
It's completely the same.
It's weird.
And I've really struggled, because you're right. It's like you have this very strong, clear goal, and you spend your life working towards that, and then it's not there. But then you still feel like you're this person that can do things or should be able to. But why can't I? And like, what is my vision? And I couldn't agree more, though, that is one of the issues with sport, is that it is always more. And the best example of that is Olympic champions becoming depressed after a games. You know, that always blew my mind, like when I was young, thinking like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
When I was chasing that sort of thing, I mean, I never won an Olympic gold, but like I went through the process, and I saw, and I struggled with those feelings a bit myself, and I saw people who were literally Olympic champions, and then they were in some of the most difficult times of their lives after that medal, and you think, this is something seriously wrong here. Like, what?
Doesn't make sense, does it? It's like people look at Instagram and go, oh, I have DMs going, fish, you like living your best life. And little do they know that I'm probably sitting at home just with it, like, just not really. I just sit on and just relax. I don't really think or do a lot. I just sometimes just pass time, because I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I've got to be okay. I think I've got to be okay in not filling the time or filling the pause and filling the gap and just being. And I think that, Freddie, like something, like if you're struggling with transition, it's like just being okay with, this is the new so-called life. You're slightly different, because I think when you come from like sport and then you go into a high performance setup, you're in the same structure, you're in the same routine, you're still living the same thing, you're just doing it with other people. So it's the same. And when I went out, when I finished playing and I went out to like LA and went to coach, and I was doing S&C out there and stuff, I was in my element. Life was almost so easy. It's like, oh, this is a blast. But it's because of what I know. I'm in what I know. But when you step away from what you know, which is sport, and then you're suddenly right, what is my next passion and purpose? And you don't really fully know, because you don't know. That's I think where the issue comes in with the mental side of it, you know.
Please tell the people where they can follow your journey, where they can find you, and continue supporting you through your transition.
My Instagram that you guys are going to put out there, and I get it wrong every time. I think it's heatherfish29, but it could be heatherfisher29. It's basically Heather Fisher 29, and you'll see a big bold rugby player who looks pretty amazing. But it could be
You
Heather.
should know that.
Yeah, I actually find some media really tough to do. That's what you can tell you people, because I think because it's like living a journey that we used to be on but not on now, and so sometimes it's like, what am I going to post about today? And you get on that mentality, and it's very here, and so you forget to look up. And I believe in looking for the signs. If you're looking down, we can't look at the signs, right? All right, next question.
Brilliant.
Ready, lock.
So thank you people for listening. If you are on Patreon already, stick with us because Fish is going to join us for one more dive. But if you're not there, the link is in the show notes. So we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.